So kids need discipline. This is a tough conversation with a lot of people, and in today's day and age, you can go to jail for disciplining a kid. When I was a kid, discipline was common. Everybody did it, and it made people better. But these days, it's not like that. So everyone looks at a situation and says, oh, that's abuse. Well, my parents spanked me, and I spanked my kids. It just made sense to me, and it still makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to let my kids run all over me. It just doesn't. So there was discipline at Mount Carmel. I don't think I would have managed life at Mount Carmel if the kids weren't well behaved, which they all were, because of the discipline that they received. Discipline at Mount Carmel was strict, but it was a process and a policy that had to be followed. So I'm, like I said, not an easy person to get along with. So I jump and get angry fast. There's issues that I had to work on myself. And part of the disciplining of my children was for me to make sure that I wasn't disciplining them when I was angry. That way I didn't take my anger out on them. So sometimes I even didn't discipline my children because I was angry and I needed to wait until I had calmed down. In fact, one time, my second oldest son needed to be spanked, and I said, I'm too angry, I'll do it tomorrow. And I don't know, most people in the world, if anybody has ever heard of a child coming up to their mother and saying, Mom, you owe me a spanking. But this boy did that, and after trying to recall what it was for, we realized that Mom gets angry over dumb things because we couldn't remember what it was for, so we didn't do the spanking. But we had a process. Every child had their own spoon. We used rice paddles that are plastic. I think we got them in Hawaii. And each paddle had the name of the child on it. Each child owned their own paddle. When they got a spanking, they would get a set number of swats on their butt cheeks and nowhere else. And it depended on the age. If it was a young one, toddler, it might only be 3 swats. If it was an older one, it could be 5. But whatever the set number was, it was set for that child. And after a spanking, I would hug the child, tell my kid that I loved him or her. I didn't love what he or she did, and I would rub her bottom to make her feel okay. But part of the reason for this is because kids get angry when they get spanked. But that anger was directed towards that paddle, not mommy. And I get angry with the kids, and I didn't want to direct that anger towards my kids. So all spankings were done in a way that there was no anger between the mother and the child. I disciplined other people's children, and other people disciplined my children. Since we all did it the same way, the kids never saw any difference and never drew that anger issue with anyone in the camp. We just all did the same thing, and I think it was just much better for the children. To this day, I fully believe that the way we raised those children was the best way in the world they could have been raised.